Mr. UFC Vegas, Fight Club TV. I am Kyle, your host. Welcome to the podcast. And today what we're going to be talking about is early betting line strategy. And this is a segment that we do here in the channel where we're really looking at a fight that's coming up in the coming months and whether we're going to be actually placing a bet now or waiting to see what happens to the line. And a lot of times we're looking to see if there's a weaker line or there's been no action yet placed on these lines and there's an opportunity where we may find some value. So today the one we're going to be talking about is Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Darren Till, May 27th at Fight Night 130 in Liverpool, England. So very excited about this fight. This is one that as soon as it was announced, I really started to, dive into some research on these two guys. Obviously, we know them. Obviously, they're superstars, or at least Till is starting to emerge as a superstar in the UFC. And it's one that I think is going to be very impressive to see stylistically how these two will match up. And it's one that I wanted to get a video out on and kind of hear your opinion on it as well. And you guys let me know here in the Fight Club of if there's other fights that are coming up or ones that you guys want me to do for an early betting line guide. Let me know here. Obviously, we're going to be having our prediction shows for the upcoming events that are coming up for the UFC. But the ones that are a little more further out, those are the ones that I want to maybe take a look at. So let me know if there's ones that you guys say, hey, this is a great fight. Maybe it's one that we could leverage some odds. So let me know in the comment section what you guys think. So today, the one we're going to be doing is Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Darren Till. And this is, again, it's an interesting fight, and it's one I want to break down a little bit as we first look at it, as Thompson is 14-2 within the UFC, or in his career, I'm sorry, and he's currently at minus 180. And then you've got Darren Till, who is 16-0, and he is currently at plus 150. So looking at the odds right there, obviously, Wonderboy has got a lot more, within the UFC. He's really, had a couple shots at the title. And if we go back and take a look at a couple of their fights and what we saw in those fights. Now, obviously, looking back, if you want to go back the last three fights for Thompson, looking at it, obviously, two of them were against Woodley. Now, the first one was very interesting fight, very exciting fight that I thought that they had. It was a great fight. Second fight, obviously Thompson lost. That second fight was a very odd fight. One that I'm not really sure what was going on with the way Thompson was fighting it, or also Woodley was really, the strategy going into that fight were very minimal strikes. One of the lowest, I think, in the history of the UFC in a title fight. I think they gave each other way too much respect in that fight, and nobody really unloaded fully in that fight, and it kind of was a slow-paced fight, and one that, I was more intrigued to see, although Thompson lost, what he was going to do in the next fight. That, to me, was something that was going to be, he's fought, Woodley 2 times in a row in a short period, and where was he going to go now in his next fight, and how would he really attack a different opponent? So I was actually at the UFC 217, which was where Thompson fought Masvidal. Now, this fight, to me, I thought that it would be another great stand-up matchup, but a matchup that really fit Thompson a lot better than it fit Masvidal because of the fact of where the space would be, and that Masvidal wants to be standing, and he's got terrific boxing. He's got, a great stand-up game, but Thompson, that's his wheelhouse. That is his wheelhouse, is keeping the distance, letting him have the distance with his very unorthodox karate stance that he has that many other fighters don't really use. That maybe, Machida sometimes kind of uses that stance, that wider stance, the longer stance. And that really gave Masvidal trouble. And also in that fight, I saw the fact that Thompson, he didn't really, when he had the opportunity, he had, used the space nicely, was able to throw some kicks, some nice combinations. But Masvidal was so worried about really getting in tight on Thompson. And I thought that Masvidal would pressure him, would get inside, pressure him, try to make it ugly, try to get in tight. And he never did that at all. And obviously credit to Thompson because Thompson's skills and his striking are elite. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But if you try to bully Thompson, I think that's where there's opportunity for the opponent. Now, that's very much easier said than done. Obviously, it's me sitting here is very, very easy to to say that, but it looks like that's always the path to victory if you've got an opportunity to just disrupt the way that he stands when he's in front of his opponent. And that's something that Masvidal didn't do. And if you're going to go strike for strike with Thompson from the outside, I don't see a chance for you to win the fight. And that's sometimes where you look at a guy that his striking is elite, but where is his grappling? Where is his clinch game? Where is his takedown defense? And if that can be pushed, that can be something where Thompson is not going to be able to withstand that kind of pressure. Now, obviously, again, in his career, he's 14-2. He's, his losses are to Woodley in his career. So, he's got opportunities here where now he's going to be able to fight a guy in Darren Till who is a bully type, who is the kind of guy who wants to get in tight, who is a guy that wants to go in there, use his strength. And Till is a very, very, big guy for this division. So it'll be interesting to see how he does that. Now, obviously, going back over to Till, Till fought, in the UFC, and he's beaten some guys, decent guys. Obviously, his biggest name was just the destruction that he put onto Cowboy Cerrone and just, obliterated him in that fight. Cowboy didn't look like he knew how to even attempt to counter the pressure that Till had the entire fight. Short fight, but right away Till was in his face. And that was something, again, where I'm looking at, although I had Till in that fight, I was looking again and saying now, Cowboy is pretty much a very well-rounded fighter. He's great on the ground. He's got great strikings, finishing, subs. He's got a lot of great, even inside the clinch, he's really good. And this fight was one that it would be interesting to see how they would, again, stylistically match up. And here, Till was able to just put the pressure on, landing heavy strikes early, and Cowboy had no answer for it. Now, in taking that and looking now at how this fight would be, now, if Till can do something like that, again, it's easier said than done, but if Till can go in and push himself, I think that he's got a great chance here to get the victory. Although, again, this is not my straight-out pick. I'm not picking anybody here. This is where I want to, shoot it out to you guys and say, what do you guys think? For me, looking at this fight, there is a great path to victory I see in Till right now at this point. And again, with Masvidal and the way that he fought Thompson, I think that any time that Masvidal went in and actually pressured him, Thompson, he wants to back away. He's got great cage movement and he moves very well. He's great keeping space with his opponent, Thompson is. But anytime Masvidal went in and threw a strong combination, tried to pressure Thompson up against the cage, Masvidal was able to do that. Thompson just always looked uncomfortable. That was where every time in that fight, he looked uncomfortable with heavy pressure. And that is something where if Till can really implement that and really pressure him and really get him tight, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see Thompson working the clinch. How is he going to get off those leg kicks? How is he going to get off those big combinations that he does from the outside if Till is pushing on him so much? And I really do believe in Till's ability. Not just because of what he did to Cerrone. He has not fought high-level opponents. Thompson has fought, throughout his career, he's fought very high-level opponents. So a lot of that, I look at it, that Thompson fought a lot of guys that kind of fit his style, kind of worked more in his advantages of things that he's able to do. Now, this is, I think, a little bit different of an animal for him. And Till is not a full-out proven fighter in the UFC, but I think there's ability there for him to get the victory. Now, you're looking at it, it's plus 150. I think that's great value right now looking at it for Till. And the fact that Thompson, again, I think he is a great mixed martial artist. He's phenomenal when you give him that space. He is just phenomenal. He could pick anybody apart in the division. But I just don't think that Till is going to do that. And the fact that Till has been calling out Thompson. That to me is something that when a guy feels like he kind of has a number to a guy, not like of course it's not a given, but when a guy feels like he's got that ability where he says, listen, I'm calling this guy out, he has to see something. He has to see something with a kink in the armor of Thompson that here, hey, I'm calling him out. And Till tried to make it out. He tried to say, I just want to fight the best. I just want to fight. And I do believe that Till wants to fight a lot of, he's up and comer. He's ready to fight anybody. But the fact that he's calling out Thompson so heavily really makes me believe that he sees something where he can leverage and get the victory. So that's a big part of it. Also, the fact that Till is going to be on home soil. And that is also going to push. If there's a tight round, it may go in Till's favor. Now, again, that's not always a given, but on those close rounds, that is where I like to say, listen, guy's home. He's got a lot to fight for. He's calling this guy out. He's plus money. A lot of that stuff points me in the direction of Darren Till in this fight. So it's going to be interesting to see how it all pans out, how that they're really going to be matched up in this fight, and what they're going to be able to do. And I obviously not placing a bet today, but I am starting to really think that I want to place a bet on Till. I'm not sure where if you ask me right now, where do you think the odds are going to go? A couple of these we've nailed them where we've said, hey, we think this is where the odds are going to be, what's going to be happening. Rose against Joanna, we talked about that in a past early betting strategy where I said, if you like Rose, you bet her now. You bet her months out, because as it gets closer, the hype train for Rose is going to continually push those odds more to a pick'em, and that's what ended up happening in this fight. So here, if you're kind of asking me here, I think it would get a little bit closer. I think money will go on Till, but I don't see anything astronomical happening. But I do think that, Thompson at minus 200, could it really get that high? I don't really think it's going to get that high. I think the value's there for Till. People are going to see that. It's a lot closer of a fight than the odds would be, as if you're talking minus 200, and then what would Till be? Plus 180. I don't think it's getting that high. I think it may tilt down a little bit further, where Till may be good value right now placing your bet if you like Till. So there you have it, guys. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys are on Till, if you guys are looking at Wonderboy Thompson more, who do you think's going to win? Also, let me know who you also want me to do these breakdowns for. Let me know in the comment section. We will see if we can knock out a couple more of these videos. This is, again, a segment that I want to continually do for the Fight Club. So give me back your feedback. Let me know what you think. If you have not yet done so, subscribe to the channel. It's a UFC and gambling channel all in one. And this is Mr. UFC Vegas, Fight Club TV.